You are listening to the Try Guys podcast. I'm your host, John O'Donovan. It's really loud. I tried to turn it down in the middle. Let's go back. I was trying to talk over it.
Dude, okay, let it play. Okay, let it
All right.
Wait. Let it play.
Okay, I'm going to do quieter. How's this sound? Okay.
Well, good.
That's better.
Right there? Start doing it?
Yeah.
Or just let it play for a little bit?
Okay, right there. Then you come
Right
in.
there.
After the dun 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 dun. Come in with a little more
Cool.
fire. Come in with some energy.
Oh, dude, I came with a lot of energy because I was trying to out loud that thing.
You're listening
to the Try Guys
podcast.
I was trying to move it.
Oh my God. You are listening. You are listening to the Try Guys podcast.
The music one.
Okay.
All right.
But after the dun,
Hey,
dun,
I have some-
dun, dun.
I have unique. Okay, we'll do it. Ready? There we go.
See something cool.
We lost it.
Come in.
Now it's not playing.
Uh-oh.
Now I can't hear it.
Oh, we're recording.
Oh, it's all the way down. There it
3,
is.
2.
Okay. All right there. Here it comes. You are listening to the Try Guys podcast. I'm your host, John O'Newland, along with Jimmy the Bass Newland and Kane Wyatt Earp Reisner. We are here to entertain you through your workout, not teach you how to work out, but you might learn something along the way. All right, boys. Like my surprise intros there, Jimmy. You know,
Am I the bass because I'm a swimmer?
no.
Why-
Kane's is pretty obvious. What's Kane?
I don't. Why is Kane?
Wyatt Earp.
Huckleberry.
Wyatt Earp.
Mustache?
Yeah, he's got a mustache.
Okay.
Trimmed up the mustache.
Why
They
am I-
say I ain't big enough for the
Because we were talking about how you have a small mouth, so I was thinking like smallmouth bass. But I guess there are largemouth bass as well.
That's
So
true,
that
but
was-
he is one species.
I
That was a
initially,
surprise
I
intro.
initially read it as the base, so I was like, "Oh, that's pretty
Oh,
sick."
okay. I'll be the bass.
I was thrown
Drop
off
the
hard
bass.
when it came out as the bass.
The bat. I had to like enunciate very clearly.
The bass.
All right. Well, we got a new opener as well. We just picked it off the fly.
I
Hopefully we'll
love
last.
the song. I
The
love
greatest
it.
song
Yes,
ever.
too.
We wrote it. We wrote it.
I'm gonna let it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play again.
Just 10 minutes ago.
Let it keep
Uh,
going. All right.
I do like that a lot.
All right, so
We
episode
did not
2.
write
Episode 1 in the books. Coming into episode 2, what was some of you guys' favorite part of getting into it last week?
Hey, we made 2 weeks in a row to start. That's a good start.
That is a start.
We're learning and we're doing it. I thought it was fun. I just like hanging out. I like hanging out and talking.
Yeah, it actually
Yeah,
went.
it's like hanging out, talking, having a hangout session with some structured questions and talking points in there, right?
Not things to distract, yeah.
And keeping our minds on triathlons throughout
On
the
the
process.
prize.
Right.
So I don't sit around and get fat. That's the biggest part.
That's happened to me right now. Oh, I do have a fun workout story. So this past weekend I was working out with a group and we were doing hill sprints, and I haven't done sprints in a while. And after getting halfway up, one of the instructors was saying, go catch the people in front, go lap them. And so I pushed it, and then on the way down just started feeling very ill and got to the bottom and just opened up in the grass and threw up everywhere. It's all water, thankfully, but
incredible.
man, endurance
I hate
sports
throwing
do that very unique. You ever throw up after triathlon or feel like you were gonna?
No, never. Was it loud? Did you throw up really loud and like violently?
Probably. I can't really control
I
that.
can only throw up violently and loud. That'd be and painful.
Can't do,
Like, I have
can't
to
hold
push
it
my
back.
face
Just
into the
a
grass.
quiet. I get too ashamed. I just throw up quietly.
Honestly, I never push myself that hard in triathlon. I want to be comfortable. I want to be pushing myself, but I also want to be comfortable.
It really wasn't even that hard for me. I just have not done a workout like that in a while. So we did 2 different, we did hill sprints, then we did like push-ups, squats, and mountain climbers in 5-minute intervals. And the next day I was just spent. So that was my week out story from episode 1.
Nice.
I've got one. I've got a story. Can I go next?
Yep. You and me.
So all throughout marathon training, this last period, I neglected resistance training for the most part. I was working with a PT guy and he had me doing some certain exercises, but other than that, I went from lifting 3 to 6 days a week to lifting like 1 day a week for like 20 minutes. And it ended up catching up with me by the time the marathon rolled around. So after the marathon, crazy travel schedule for a couple weeks. So it was 5 weeks after the marathon that I finally got my first resistance session in again. And I just happened to go to a CrossFit workout with my wife. And it just happened to be like the hardest CrossFit workout ever known to man. We started out with 100 thrusters, and that alone is like a full workout. And it was like, so it was like 100 thrusters, then 90 of something else, 80 of something else, 70 of something else, 60, 50, 40, all the way down to 10. I made it to the 50 and I was dead. And that was a 50-minute workout.
Oh, jeez.
50
Holy
minutes
cow.
and of that?
5-0. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And by the end of it, my vision, like I was doing a couple reps of gorilla box jump over. So you put your hands on it and you like jump up, touch it with your feet, jump to the other side,
Just
go
hands
back and
slip out.
forth.
Bam.
I know.
Oh, I was a
That's
little
what
worried
does,
about
right?
it because the vision started to go a little bit dark.
It is hard jumping right back into it, and it's getting older. I'm not very old, but it's really hard to jump right back in and just go 100%. I really need to like discipline myself to ease in. Otherwise, I'm just hurting the next few days, and I can't even work out.
That was a big thing
Yeah,
I learned from last. So I took off after last season. I pretty much was like, oh, I'm back in it. Like it's like high school again. So I was like, I'll just take off all winter and then just jump right back into it because I set myself a good baseline. And then I like vowed to do nothing during December because I will love Christmas. So I was like 2 weeks. I was like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna eat everything I want, all the sweets. And then when spring came around, I started running again. Yeah, it was real rough. That was a big wake up call to.
Do you guys
not
get like
slack off.
the itchy legs when you don't run for a while and you start running again? You ever
No.
get that? Like I get like I don't know if it's blood flow or what it is, especially in the cold. Like if I start running in the cold when I haven't ran in a while, my legs get so itchy that I'm like scraping at them and I have like red scratches all over my legs after I'm done. I know other
Like
people
when
have had it, but
Like, is it like when your body starts to heat up that happens, or like at what point in the run?
yeah,
are you
yeah, it's usually like if I'm doing about 3, probably a 1 mile mark, it starts itching and then it'll like turn over after like 2.5 and I'll feel really good at like 2 to 2.5. But it's weird. Like it,
just your legs?
no, in my torso and everything.
I got
But
a
I'm
question.
gonna check
Is
it out.
anybody's legs itching right now after he said that?
I saw you moving around over there.
Itchy.
No, cold weather does affect me itchy wise too. I like running in cold weather, but I hate layering up when it's really cold because no matter how many layers I wear or how cold it is outside, by the time I hit like a mile and a half, I'm ready to shed it all.
Ooh, I got an answer. Thanks to Google.
Start cold.
So
for
it's
sure.
a histamine response. Some research suggests that histamine is released during exercise to protect against fatigue rather than as an allergic response. So histamine is released to protect your body against fatigue, and it works to expand the blood vessels in your body. So probably giving more oxygen to the body and allowing just better blood flow, but unfortunately sends the itchy message to your brain. So I need to pound some Benadryl before I go run.
I
That's why
was
pre-workout-
just gonna say
Maybe
that.
that's why pre-workout always made my face itch really bad.
Yeah, maybe there is some
No,
histamine in
That's
there.
no, that's
probably
no.
dilating your blood vessels.
That's cocaine.
No, it's there's another compound in it that makes you get the itchy feeling. Because I had a roommate in college who used to make his own pre-workouts because you can just buy all the ingredients like caffeine and all that separately and then put them all together into whatever dosage you want. And what's the name of this
geez.
compound? He used to just load up on this stuff, so he'd just be like full body
Histamine.
itch mode. Yeah, histamine. I
Loaded
gotta
with
look that up.
histamine.
You do eat whatever you want. No allergic
Love the
reaction.
itch.
Yeah, that's.
I ran for the
It's
first-
miserable though.
I ran for the first time in a while yesterday. That was fun because I
No itchy
Beta
legs.
alanine.
I felt really
Beta
good.
alanine, that's what it's called.
I felt really good when I started, and my legs. So I've been working out legs really hard, and so my legs felt really strong. And I was starting at a really fast pace. I was like, man, I might be able to run this whole 3 miles like this. And then it kind of started hurting it. After
Hit a wall.
mile one.
Anyway.
Yeah, at mile one, like I should probably.
Was
go
it
back.
more like your endurance, or was I guess
It
your
was the endurance. It's a good question. My legs actually felt great the whole time. It
But
was
your lung
more my
capacity?
endurance. Yeah, because I haven't ran in a while. Like it's just
Usually, well,
different
you've been
than-
swimming a lot though, right?
It's different still.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know that like
It
as
feels
far as
different.
like breathing and lung capacity, that
That's why I
I've
felt.
been
I
told
thought
that
by,
helps.
if I didn't run at all last winter and I biked all the time inside, I thought that would just carry over. But then when I started running again, it was just different. I don't know why. Just feels different.
Huh.
Yeah, well, and I was gonna ask you guys what type of workouts. So you were talking about getting back into resistance stuff. So you took a break from resistance training, Kane, when you got into your marathon. You
Yeah.
said,
I don't think it was the right move, but I did.
yeah. So, well, as I'm like looking to work out, I'm just not good with structured gym time. I like hit type training, um, and but like if doing weighted training, is that you guys think that would be good? I know
That's
like
what I'm
certain type of weighted training isn't best for endurance
Yeah,
stuff,
I mean,
obviously.
my philosophy was I had a strong enough base because I had been lifting consistently for the past like 8 years that I could take those 14 weeks off to train for a marathon and I wouldn't lose
Yeah.
all of it, and I'd have enough to sustain me through whatever I needed to have for that marathon. But I think, the consensus out there by like all of the strong endurance coaches say that there should be resistance training incorporated into your programs. I don't know exactly what exercises, but definitely like squats and other things to keep the legs strong.
Yeah, I need to.
I've
need
been
to look into that
pounding
more.
weight hard. I'm just going heavy.
Yeah, do you do
every time.
mainly like heavy lifts, or do you do lower
Always
weight,
heavy.
higher reps?
No, I do always heavy now. I like
Just like
'cause-
like few reps though.
Yeah, like I usually, well, I kind of, and I don't know if this is the right way, but I've kind of done like my own version of like the 5x5. So I'll start with like 2 sets of like 10 to get warmed up, and then I'll go like 3 working sets to try to fail by 5 with the weight. And it's been going fine so far. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
I know.
It's been a slow climb. Well, it's actually been a very fast climb because I didn't know where to start. So I was like starting low, and it's been climbing
just
faster.
building up.
But I
into
think
that.
I'm starting to hit the top now, so I'm gonna be able to dial it in a little tighter.
Well, that can bring us into our first segment, which is question of the day. And here on episode 2, figured it would be good to actually cover a little bit about what our backgrounds are and how we got into our endurance training. So it's a bit of a twofold question. What is background before this, and how do we get into endurance training? So I can start with that. I was a runner. I did football until about 7th, 8th grade, and then freshman year of high school switched over into running. I did the Big 4 in track, doing the half mile, the 2 mile, the mile, and the 2 mile relay, and hated track and quit and didn't do the next 2 years, and then did my senior year just to get more workout. But and then did cross country throughout all that. So ran the shorter distances, 5K and below. Did pretty well in our school size, and but really fell in love with endurance sports at that point. And from there, just been an amateur runner, not really doing training or not really doing races since then, but wanting to get back into that world. And after you started, Jimmy, getting into triathlons, it's bringing this kind of together. So that is a little bit about what my experience is in. I learned along the way, just through doing and through some other mentors and trainers. But that's that's how I got in. I'm not biking's probably one of my.
You were a very good runner in high school.
Well, for
You
the
were a
area.
very good runner in high school.
Dude, you were a beast.
But
Yeah,
for
but
the
we had
area,
small-
like you would win. Like that's the thing. Like you would win, but you'd only win because there's no one else to like push you even faster. Like you'd win, just because you knew how fast you had to run to win.
Well, that's one of my biggest regrets with that. Probably is not taking training more seriously. I mean, how much can you really do in high school? Like it's really if you want to do it.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool to see like what could I have gotten. I mean, mile time was as a freshman. I think I got my PR at like 4:36 or 37.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang, could I have gotten down like lower 4s? Our high school record was like 4:20 something. Could I have maybe approached that if I would have trained specifically for it? But a mile is a fast race.
Yeah, it is.
And I always started, the more I did them, everyone's like, oh, long distance run. I was like, no, this is not. This is miserably fast.
I mean, it's like past the 400 and I guess so. It's just the 800 and the mile. It's like it's a very fast run
Yeah.
all the way through.
400
Like,
is
the whole-
definitely the worst in my mind.
Yeah, the 400
but
because it's a sprint essentially.
I don't even know if those are. I guess they're kind
It'd
of
been cool if a coach,
endurance.
like, I mean, and Scott was a great coach in running.
Yeah.
Like incredible coach. But if they would have, it was like they trained you to win more than
Yeah,
trained
and
you to
we
do better. I don't know, maybe.
Well,
Maybe not.
they gave us structure for us to thrive in if we wanted to.
If you-
They didn't
okay,
really
so it was
force
kind
us
of
to.
yours, Yeah.
Yeah, it was my call. Like
You knew you
really
could.
didn't.
Yeah, but there was no one. That's the other thing too. There was like no one to really push you either.
In our school specifically until my junior year, which when Trevor had
Yeah, and then it was too late.
yeah, right, he trained hard through the
He
summer,
went
and kudos to him. He went nuts, and he got better PRs than I ever did. So, but even in I think my senior year, I won the finals, and I just put in kind of general effort.
Okay, quick question: do you guys win finals 3 years in a row?
Junior and senior
They just
year.
won it this year again. Stevenson did.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
Cross
2
country?
years in a row. Cross country finals, yeah. Then you won it.
Yeah, we were 2
was it
years.
three?
I
2
think it
years
was
in a row. Okay,
just with.
I thought they said back to back.
I don't know if
to
Scott.
back, and
I don't know if we won
remember.
with. Yeah,
You won with Mr.
we won
Harris, right?
both with
Yeah,
Papa Harris, because he followed us on a bike and wouldn't let us mess
That's
around on our
right.
runs. We
messed
had
around a lot.
planned runs. Yeah, we planned runs where you would go and just mess around and time it and know when to come back. That's why, looking back, wishing I would have put in more of the effort, especially in the off season. I mean, that's a lot of where you can start ramping up. Which do you time that specifically with your training of tri seasons, like when you're starting to train
do I
for
try
tries?
to- do I try to peak at tries?
Yeah.
Like at events? No.
How do you even track that?
I don't
Or-
know how to do that. Some people
Yeah.
like Scott's really good at it, but
I mean, I think
don't
you
know how
just
to
you
peak.
build your endurance. Like right now is the off season, right? I think we talked a little bit about this last episode of if there were triathlons in the winter, and there are, but most of them are in the spring through fall months. So the winter is really for just gaining as much endurance in whatever aspect you want, right? Whether
Yeah.
it be biking, swimming, or running. And then, like for me this winter, I think I'm going to focus on swimming as much as possible because I know that's my weakest point. So spend all winter swimming as much as I can. Granted, I didn't swim this week, but we're getting to that later. And then during your or last week, but then once you pick your races,
Wait, what is
that
this
you're gonna
podcast about?
once you pick your races that you're going to do, though, then you have your training plans that you follow, and that's where you peak. You make sure you're peaking at.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and even getting back into it, that's what I'm excited more to get more serious about in a unserious way, like an amateur way of like, trying to best my times, get back into the racing mentality, because I would do like throw away 5Ks here and there just to complete them, or just checking my times when I'm running on personal level and comparing to PRs of old. But it was yeah, it was fun. I loved running. Biking's probably a harder hurdle for me because it's just longer and more monotonous than running. I don't know, running's easy to me. Biking is probably a bigger hurdle in my mind. Swimming's just very foreign, so I don't know how it'll go at all. But
It
biking
sucks.
is,
Swimming is awful.
yeah.
It's not. I mean,
I know.
I'm improving, but I hate it. Like I hate every second of it. But I don't want to let James down. Like he's doing so good, giving us our workouts and keeping us like. We have a group chat where we have swimmers or like Menominee Swimmers Unite or whatever. But he keeps sending our workouts, and I'm like, I don't want to let you down. And I do feel
Hey,
like
that's
I am
good.
getting better.
Yeah.
I know that's a nice thing about having this community that we have is like I don't want to fall behind people, and I don't want to let certain people down. So I haven't not given up like an inch. Well, besides not.
When do you think will be your
tomorrow.
next triathlon? Like in the spring? Is that when they usually?
I think
So
my
when you
next-
can really tell
my
a
next is
difference?
gonna be like my first half Ironman.
Oh wow.
We should find one in the spring, a sprint.
Yeah, I'll find one. I'll do one in the sprint or in the spring. A sprint, yeah. I mean,
So,
might
well,
go
that
travel
was-
a little bit,
A little about me, not much about you guys. So Kane, how about you? What's your when did you get started in endurance training? Because you weren't always. You were going for the swole for a while,
Yeah.
and then
I went
what was your
beefcake
background?
mode for a little bit. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So, always been an
but you
athlete.
look good though.
Thanks. Always been an athlete. A lot of basketball, football. Did golf, and I literally did a golf in high school just because we got to skip school for a day when the meets were, and I didn't have.
Unless
to
you
do track.
sucked like me, and then I had to stay back anyway, but still got free golf. Anyway,
Okay. So most of what I was basketball and football. and doing the mile, say like in track or like in gym class, was like the longest I would ever run. So endurance was not even on my radar of radars. And so even after high school, I really went after high school is when I got into lifting more so than anything. I mean, in high school it was just play the sports and do the sports, and no like training in the off seasons. I was like the lazy athlete. And then after my senior year of high school, I started to really get into fitness, right, and weightlifting and that whole thing. So then I became like a bodybuilder type guy, and I never got like super huge, but I think at my peak bulk weight I was like 220 pounds. So throw
And how tall
220
are you?
pounds, 6 foot.
Yeah.
And so just for reference, right now I'm just under 190 pounds. So
Oh, I guess
almost
that's-
30 pounds difference.
Wowza.
So from senior year of high school till through college and just after college, it was all weightlifting. So it was weightlifting, and then slowly it transitioned to like a hybrid, like a CrossFit style. I did a lot of circuits, did a lot of functional type training. And then COVID hit in, well, okay, that's not true, because 2017 I ran a half marathon with my wife.
Was that because
to do it.
she was doing it and you were
She-
joining her?
Kind of. She's like, "Hey, we should do a half marathon." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we just signed up for one and then did it. It was just one
Yeah.
of those things that was just like completely random, but we ended up
Yeah.
doing it, and
That's
and
what
I
did
really
when-
thoroughly enjoyed it.
for when you did
What's
your
that?
marathon. I was like, oh, I'll do the half. That can't be that
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
So anyway, so 2017 I did a half marathon. I guess that was my first real introduction into endurance training, because I went through a whole 12-week plan of, okay, you're going to run X amount of miles every week. And I didn't really follow like the pacing of them. I just went out and just ran. And I was totally like going through this full marathon training plan was a completely different experience, because I was actually hitting pacings and doing easy runs and then my speed workouts and all that. And for this half, I just went out and ran as hard as I could. So I just go try to beat an 8-minute pace every single run, and that was my goal. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do an 8-minute half marathon, or 8-minute pace half marathon.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. So, anyways, did the half marathon, enjoyed it, but then right away got back into lifting and like circuit style training, and then COVID hit, and the gyms all shut down. And at that point, I didn't have the gym in my garage yet, the weightlifting equipment in my garage, so I needed to do something. And so I was like, I'll start running. So I started running a little bit and really loved it. And then somewhere between that summer, we got the gym in our garage set up. So then I was doing kind of both, where I would do running and weightlifting. And I thoroughly enjoyed just mixing up a little bit, because weightlifting was getting really monotonous for me. And then I don't know when I actually like really got into, like, right now I'm loving endurance training. Signed up for a marathon, just did a marathon, ready to do triathlons next. But I think it was really Jimmy that kind of like set me into this next phase. So I never really thought of that, but thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Newland.
Was it because you joined the bike group, the local bike?
The
Yeah.
really cool bike club.
Yeah, but how did we actually like get hooked up on like doing our first ride together? We ended up like just somehow
Our
talking
first
one
ride
night. It was
ever.
like,
Did we ride last year together at all? We rode. Did we?
It was
no. Our
you
first
started
ride was
up the
50,
bike club
wasn't
when
it?
I was up there in April this year, and you
Right.
were just coming up with a name and like just starting it. So
Yeah, but I know we rode last year too a lot. But I don't know if I rode with you at all last year. Did we?
I think
I don't think we
last
did.
year in the middle of the year you had talked about
I
had a
talked
small
about trying to buy
group.
your bike at one point because I said
Oh,
I
really?
needed a road bike because I can't remember. I did talk about starting a group last year. Yeah.
And I was always like, oh, I need to get up there and ride with you guys. I need to get up
Yeah.
there and ride with you guys. And I think I did once, but it was earlier this year. And then, yeah, it was once, because it was with Scott. We went down 338.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me, you, and Scott. I
Yep.
remember that.
Yep. And then
Then the
And
50 at
then-
your place.
the 50 was the next ride at my place. So it was
That's where I
really,
fell. That's where I took my
Yeah.
first bigger.
oh yeah, you fell on
And
the
then-
bike.
And I fell, and I was like bleeding everywhere, and everything was hurt. And Kane turned around, and was like, "Okay, you good? You look good. Let's go. Let's go. You look good." It's like
I
30
was
miles
ready
in.
to go.
He's like, "Come on, let's go. Can you ride? Your bike's fine. Let's go." Just trying to.
I just
settle
didn't want.
injuries.
I
Like,
don't want
we
to
had
let you down. I'm gonna
had-
keep going.
we had in our minds that we were doing 50, and
Yeah.
we were only like a
We were
quarter
30
of a
we were
mile from my
30.
house. We were 30
'cause
some
you
in, but
didn't
we
want us
were
to turn
we-
around, like call it.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
wasn't
I was
gonna
like,
call
oh,
it.
we have to keep going. We have to keep going.
Actually, that probably helped a lot. I don't think I'd have called it, but that helped to like get me on the bike and going. But the nice thing was
Yeah.
like the next 10 miles was nothing because I had so much adrenaline from
Adrenaline.
the fall.
Yeah.
Cubby ran me off the shoulder, and then he yelled at me while he did it. He's like, "No, Jimmy!" And I was like, "You gotta move over." He's like right next to me. He's like, "No, Jimmy, hold on!" And I couldn't go anywhere, so I went in the shoulder.
Oh, Cub. I was there for Cubby's first tumble on the bike. When he had the snap-in shoes. I was there for his that ride.
Yeah. He fell on.
He just
he
like
fell on a
parked
ride.
and he just. Oh, did he
Last
fall on
ride,
again?
Our last
Oh,
group
geez.
ride, he fell on, and that was pretty funny. He like I don't know how he did it. He was on his phone like with the farm, and then he like fell off and like landed on his tailbone. He's like, like he got the wind knocked out of him, which is terrible, but it's funny when
Oh, that is.
someone's like gasping.
No,
for
it's
breath.
hilarious.
He's fallen a lot this year, hasn't he?
He fell twice with like the clip in, or three times the clip in, and he fell once on a ride. Like one, like,
I would.
on
That's one of
all-out
my
ride.
fears. I do not want to fall on a ride.
It took me like mentally, it took me like a month to not be nervous. Like I felt really unstable for about a month. Like every time I rode, like even if the shoulder was 2 feet wide, I felt like I was going to fall
Mhm.
off. I felt like a small gust of wind would throw me off into the ditch. But it wasn't going to happen. But I was just so scared.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point, everyone in their cycling career is gonna
Oh,
have
yeah.
a crash, right?
And hopefully, it's
jeez.
hopefully
Road
you
rash.
crash on your own and not like get hit. That's the
Right.
big thing. Like hopefully you crash.
Yeah.
It's really does not hurt. The fall itself does not hurt that bad. Honestly, I was surprised. It happened so fast. Like you remember when you were a kid and like if you got hit and like thrown down really fast, it was just like a blur.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just like kind of
And you
roll
pop
and you're
up
like, what happened?
just as
Yeah.
fast, screaming.
That's exactly what happened when I fell. It just happened so fast. I didn't even realize what happened. Because when you think about like grinding your skin on the road, it just makes you like cringe. You know that feeling.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah, like that
mhm.
visceral like. Ugh. Every time I'm
Yeah.
riding, I think of that. But when it happened, tore me wide
It's
open.
just so
I was like,
fast,
oh,
right?
it's not that bad.
Hey, walk away
It's like,
from
I'm
this.
okay with bleeding.
So, Kane, you're getting into triathlons. You were just in marathon, or just did your first marathon. What are you going to do a marathon again? I know you want to get. You said you'd like to build up to an Ironman potentially.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to do a full Ironman. I had kind of verbally committed to a full Ironman in October of next year,
Ooh,
and I'm second guessing that a little bit.
just the level of training involved.
It's not like I couldn't do it if I trained for it. It's just
Mhm.
the commitment, right? So much time and so much stress on my body when I'm already in like a very high stress environment now at work, and I now have a child to care for and all of those life things that kind of gang up on you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was
That's why
surprised
said
when I
do
saw you.
half with me this summer, and then we will do one next year, the year after. Like, get your mind prepped for it. I know.
I just
James
need
would
to do a
say-
couple
James would say
sprints.
just sign up and go, but he like destroys his body. He does so good, but then he just like, oh, I can't walk for 3 months. Like I can't actually
Yeah.
walk on my feet anymore.
I think I would be way more confident if I would have had a better outcome of my marathon.
Yeah.
Just because I ended up bonking, as they say, towards the end. Well, about halfway point, and I ended up doing a lot of walking the last 4 miles. It was honestly so brutal. There was
Hey,
there was
That's more than I've
13
done.
miles.
yeah there was never a point where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna finish. I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
But it was just like, how long am I gonna walk at the end of this run?
That's
man.
impressive. If I bonked, if I did like, if I hit a wall,
that-
at
is that a
13
term,
miles, I was
bonking it?
gonna- There's
Yeah.
bonking. I know, like, yeah, there is bonking. When you
Bonking is like
depleted of
when
everything.
you blow up, right? When you blow up
Yeah.
a run,
Yeah.
that's
when you
bonking is
bonk
the-
when you're biking, or like
Sounds like
Scott
a
said
British
he bonked
thing.
a few times, and he said like when you bonk, like you like hallucinate sometimes. Like he bonked to the point where he was like said he's talking to mailboxes as he's riding past them, and he like ended up at a gas station, and some dude went and bought him some food, like a banana or something, at a gas station. He was like able to. Someone had to come pick him up, but
Holy
he told me
cow.
that was like the worst time he bonked. Yeah.
He must have been on a really long ride.
It was a very fast Marquette group ride, and there's a lot of hills, and it was like very fast, 50 to 100 miles, I think. And it was probably like, yeah. And he said he came straight from somewhere, hadn't eaten all day. Like it was just a bad situation, really.
Yeah, like that 100-mile ride that we went on.
Colton.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't gonna name any names, but
Well, you don't have to name last names.
that's true.
So
But
Jimmy,
now we remember his name.
you got Kane into biking, more onto the
So it's-
triathlon
oh, yeah,
track.
my turn, hey?
You introduce triathlons to me, even though I haven't done them yet,
Yeah.
but because you got into them. So what got you into endurance sports, endurance training, and what was your background?
So I
before
did.
this?
So in high school, I did a lot of football and basketball. Basketball was my main thing. And like looking back, I wasn't that great at it, so I should have did something else. But
Still fun.
yeah, it was fun. I did track cross country. I did my senior year, and I was the fastest for a little while, and then I realized that my little brother was way faster than me and just didn't want to beat
That
me.
story. Well, it literally was that. I think that was the first race I ever caught up to you
Yeah.
because it was like the third race or something like that.
That well, there was one race that I
Of the
kind of
season.
twisted my ankle. That you could have probably beat me from the very
Yeah, you did.
beginning. I did get hurt. I had to sit a race, and then you never looked back, which was good because that's what had to happen.
Well, in that, yeah, it was in that next one. I like that was the first time that I was caught up to you. I was like, oh, he's hurt. Like,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah,
I was a
right.
freshman. You're a senior, so it's a different. Like trying to, like, should I pass him? I just remember you like, pass me, just go or something like that. Just yelled at me. He's like, okay, okay, toss
Yeah,
me.
no. So I ran cross country, and then I was very into working out, like weightlifting after high school and college because I put on freshman 25, and then I got my certification for being a personal trainer, and I did that for a while, and I realized I did not like that, and then gosh, I didn't do anything for a while, and then I got to the point where I was going to be old fat dad or do something, and I didn't like running. So last
Thick
year I bought
boy.
a bike, and it was a bike that I bought off of Amazon. It was like $300, and I remember like I'd ride with Scott, and we'd be like averaging like 13, 14 miles an hour, and it was hard for me. It was hard. You like John, you rode that bike. It was hard to ride that bike, and then Scott was like encouraging me, but he told me, so once I got my new bike, which was a way better bike, I mean, it was used, but it was way better than I had. And me and Scott, when our first ride, he's like, wow, like I wasn't doing crazy good, but he's like, I was almost like debating telling you maybe this isn't for you because of how bad I was doing on my first bike. He's like, I didn't want to be mean, but he's like, he talked to his wife. He'd be like, I don't think he's made out for this. I don't think he can do this. It was so, cause he'd all like in those rides, like I'd be dying and he'd be like in front of me, always just like chilling, one arm on his hip and just like looking back and talking to me. And it was just awful. Then I got the new bike, and once I did that, luckily actually, so I just signed up. James kind of got me into it once he did his Ironman stuff, and I was like, oh, there's shorter triathlons. I'll just do that. And so I just signed up for one in Door County, and luckily I got that bike the week before the race. It was like 2 weeks before the race. But I had a terrible showing, but it was like good to get my feet wet, pun intended. But
I know the feeling.
but it was good. And then yeah, after that, it was just like all I wanted to do was get better at that kind of stuff. And it was cool that there's 3 different facets to it that you can get better at. So it's not just like running all the time. I mean, or biking all the time even.
Yeah.
So then I got into
Put it that
that, and
way.
then it was just like nice because I like the biggest thing was getting a community of people around that. Like I really wanted a community of people that could encourage each other and then keep pushing each other and keep everyone going. Selfishly, I wanted it just for me because if I had enough people that were doing it, I would not want to fall behind. But then it just turned into like bigger than what I expected, and it was a lot of fun. But then now there's like a wide range of different goals and different people, different types of people in it. So it's been a lot of fun. But now we're here, and now we started a podcast about it.
Yes, we
Just
did.
trying to learn.
I was laughing as we were talking about like asking questions of what type of training. Oh, I think it's like people who actually do triathlons listening like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I know exactly.
Wait, before we go on, I gotta go back to we were talking about biking and Jimmy crashing and then Cubby crashing, and I gotta tell my crash story because I've had my cycling crash already in my career, my very young and humble career. Anyway, so I bought my bike in 2016, I think, and I didn't really ride it much. I'd go here and there, and then when I met Lexi, I convinced her to buy a bike. And I was like, oh, I love biking. We should do it together. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So she bought a bike, or I picked that bike for her to buy, whatever. And so we'd go a few times here and there. So I was biking from my old house up to her parents' house, which is like maybe like a 20-mile ride. But you have to go through town to get there. So there's some slower parts of it. And so I was going along and I was going through town, and there's this intersection where you come across and turn left, and there's these railroad tracks that come across diagonally across this intersection. So I was going along and I went to turn at this intersection, and somehow my bike tire, when it hit the railroad track, it like snapped, like turned completely into the track, fell down into the track, and I went right over the top of my handlebars.
gosh.
And I wasn't wearing a helmet that day either.
Oh,
So luckily I had enough, I was going slow enough that I could push the bike out in front of me, and then I could tuck and roll. So I didn't like hit my head or anything, but my arm, elbow, knee was all scraped up. I don't know how the bike tire didn't bend, like the whole frame, like the rim
Because you snapped
of the
the
wheel.
handlebar off, didn't you?
I snapped the handlebar by pushing it
Holy
into the
cow.
concrete. Yeah.
jeez, man.
So then I got up and I'm like, wow, like that could have been so bad. But I was like, the adrenaline's pumping,
Oh,
and you
You're
don't think
fast.
anything of
It
it.
happens fast, doesn't it?
It happens so
It's
fast.
like all of a sudden you're riding and then you're just done. You're on the ground. You're like, what? Like your mind can't process the speed of how fast you fall.
Yeah, and I didn't have my phone or anything on me, and this handlebar is just like draping down the side of my bike, and I'm like, what do I have to do? I still have like 7 miles to go. So I had to just ride the bike and kind of hold
No
the
hands.
handlebar up the whole time.
Oh,
7
Yeah.
miles for 7 miles?
Yeah.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez. Well, that's
that'd be brutal.
a good transition into our next segment of Would You Rather, where we cover a couple questions that we thought up, and I'm actually going to take this one first. I'm going to bring up, would you rather train in a hilly environment or flat? The reason I jump right into that question is I live out suburbs of Pittsburgh, so we have lots of hills. And talking about bike crashes, that's one of my biggest fears with training in a hilly environment is I don't mind climbing hills. I kind of like it, and the free ride down is nice, but the speeds that you can catch
Yep.
on some of these hills,
Yep.
I mean, I guess for performance, like it would probably be better to train in a hilly environment for if a race is in a hilly environment,
Right.
but it's also harder to get out.
I think it's
Like, some of
more
my
about the
routes-
climb though too, like in hilly climbs. Like there are a lot of people that are afraid to go fast down the hill. I'm one of them too. Like once I get to a certain speed, it's like I'm looking way ahead for any cracks or anything that I could maybe hit. And then we were on a ride this this last summer, and Scott was flying past me. I was like, dude, I was like, careful. He's like, come meet the Lord with me. He was doing the thing where he lays down
man.
on his bike. Like, you ever see that video of the guy that lays down like for aerodynamic? I was like,
Oh,
Scott, I was
yeah.
like, this is bad. He's like, come meet the Lord with me.
Yeah, I'm not as comfortable on a bike. Mainly, I don't know what it is. I had a couple of wipeouts as a kid, but nothing terrible to.
Do you have a bike?
Induce
yet,
fear.
Jono?
I have one that's the frame. I don't even know what size frame it is.
Make
It
sure
would
you get
work
one
well
that
enough.
fits well enough.
Yeah,
think mine's a
I
little
will
too small,
eventually.
which makes it feel a little more flimsy underneath me, and I'm a bigger dude, so it's like
Yeah,
feels flimsy.
yeah. So back to the question, I would ideally like to have flat around me. It's easier to get out and go, and you don't have any, like, even running around here. I have a big hill right in my main 3-mile stretch that's just brutal. And when I first started, it was like kind of a hindrance in my mind, like, oh, I don't want to have to go that way. It was like one of the ones I knew was 3 miles, so I would just go out and do that one often. But so I probably would pick hilly for the benefit that hills training gives in overall racing, but for the benefit, but the side of convenience, I think flat, even mentally, that I can get out and go and not have any additional hurdles. I don't know. You guys train mostly.
You got to pick one.
Oh,
You
okay.
you
I'll
said,
pick
well, I'd
flat.
rather do
I'll
hilly,
pick
but
flat.
I'd rather do flat.
You do
Pick
flat?
a different context, different answer. Okay.
So I'm a big fan.
I'll pick flat.
I'm a big fan of flat, but I think if I had to pick one or the other, like I'd probably pick hilly just for the.
But you live in
Just
flat.
so-
That's why you're picking it.
Just so well, I mean, are we talking like mountains or? There's some hill. I mean, there's obviously not as much big hills, but I
Yeah.
think hilly's a fun. Like it breaks it up kind of nice. Flat.
Yeah, and you get
boring.
curves. You get. I mean, it can make a more enjoyable ride, or even or run. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I'd pick hilly.
That's
Just
true.
'cause
Flat
just
can
'cause
get
it
really
breaks it up
boring.
a little bit.
No,
Kane, you lived in
I'm
both, right?
flat. I'm flat.
Yeah.
I'm flat all day. So in the area I live now, it's got beautiful flat roads. There's plenty of like curves and stuff too, but there's no hills, and I love
I
Yeah,
like
and you were
running
in-
flat. I like running.
You were in hills
flat.
in college, so
running flat. Yeah,
Running
yeah,
flat,
hills in
definitely.
college.
Bike, I think I would do hilly, just because the reward of the down is so nice.
Yeah, that's true. There is a much higher reward biking, but running would be treacherous if it was just
I would
up
much
and
rather
down,
run
up
a
and down.
hill. I would rather run a hill than bike a hill.
Really, but you can't
Really?
run
Yeah.
down the hill the same way you bike down a hill.
You can open up a little bit. and
You
it
can
feels
open
right.
up, but you can't let go.
I know. Where it's just like,
Just follow
Go
and
for it.
roll. Now, the big question is: would you rather swim in a hilly environment or flat?
Definitely hilly.
Hilly
yeah,
swims
the
are my
downhill.
favorite.
You could just
The
ride it.
downhill swim.
Just ride it out. All right. Well, we'll go into the next one. So, would you rather do an endurance event in hot weather or cold weather? So, a temperature range of like 80 to 90 degrees for hot weather, or 40 to 50, even colder, 30 to 50 maybe for cold weather training. Right out the gate, I would say cold. I really enjoy running in cold. Even in a rainy cold, something energizing about it to me. But I would prefer the colder weather to run in.
Yeah.
Once I warm up. It's harder to start for sure, but
I think, yeah. I'm also cold. I think the perfect, like 65 to 75 is like perfect. Well, I don't even know if perfect. I think I'd prefer like 60 to 70 even, but I would definitely take cold because when it gets too hot, I want to die, especially when I'm running.
Yeah, my perfect race environment is like 40 degrees, maybe partly cloudy, but not like full sun. Nice and chilly, because once you get your body temperature starts to get up, it helps you keep it lower, right? Which keeps your heart rate lower, which means you can go faster.
I wonder. Okay, so then with that, do you think are there any people that like would rather be in the
pick
hot?
hotter. I don't know.
I feel like
Hey,
was that
like
like
your
an
looser muscles. Like
Yeah.
you're like whenever we would
Like
warm
the old
up.
people probably. Like the older, older people. That's why they moved to Florida. Like
Yeah.
they probably like it a little warmer to run in.
Yeah, and even this question maybe to do more extremes because 90 can get pretty extreme running, but if you
But-
get down into like teens and the cold, that like those type of comparison.
The cold,
Yeah,
the
it's too
cold
cold.
weather, the cold weather for I guess the extreme opposite of 80 and 90 would that be like 20, 30 or 30,
Yeah,
40? Like,
that
Probably.
should be the question.
yeah,
Like
'cause
10
40,
to
50 is
30
still actually
versus
pretty
80 to
nice.
90.
40, 50 is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's optimal.
yeah.
Oh yeah, if
Swimming
we get down
definitely
into 10,
cold.
we've ran before. We did it was in the winter. It wasn't for cross country. It was just our team went out and I think it was -10 and we went running and we tried to bundle up as best we could.
And you
But
don't.
as we got out there, all of our eyelashes, any peach fuzz we had on our face at the time got coated with frost because we were sweating and it was freezing. I remember Ben and Bo, they were like icicle eyelashes. Aussie wore a morph suit and he covered his face. He like wore it and he had it over his head the whole time. He's like, I feel great. And he's like, just this big moist wet spot like on his face.
Just like one, it's like an icicle
But it was
starting
so
down his chin.
Our bodies hurt so
Drown in
bad.
those things.
Oh, it hurt so bad for how cold it was. Like your skin was just on fire from how cold it was, and you get back. Then we were
Did you have
trying to warm
frostbite?
up in the shower. I don't know.
Yeah, cold running.
potentially.
Cold, that,
The face was really bad. We had like red faces the rest of the day, just whatever was exposed, and it was
Tom
was
Coughlin
pretty bad.
face.
yeah. Just get the
I'm gonna try and run a cold day because right now it's great. Like running yesterday was awesome. Well, it was like the
It was
best day
60.
ever. It was perfect.
and you can get pretty good gear in the cold.
Yeah, James
to
has
help.
James actually just picked up a whole kit for cold biking.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because
What would you do? I mean, I guess you'd have to have cleared roads.
Tight, keep you
No,
warm.
like
Oh,
yeah, but like your body. What about the bike? Like in the road?
you just-
I know a
would
lot
have
of
to
guys
be
who do
just
James
cleared
did
road.
fat
Ironman-
tire biking.
Fight.
James
oh
did
yeah, the
Ironman
fat tire.
Alaska on his time trial bike,
Oh yeah.
and he said it was brutal. But that's what he's kind of, he wants
Man,
to
that's
never have
crazy.
to, he wants to be prepared if he ever runs into bad weather again, like cold weather.
In case life ever says he has to run a triathlon.
In case
Yeah, it breaks down and he has to cross a river,
Ford
bike
River
across,
with his bike.
ford a river with the bike to safety, and run to the last.
No,
Wait,
Alaska
that's
was
a
brutal. But he was talking about Alaska was brutal.
that's a great
can
transition
imagine.
into our next question.
Oh.
Would you rather wear 5-pound vest swimming, 30-pound vest biking, or a 10-pound vest running? So
I picked
would you
these-
rather carry your bike while you
Yeah.
swim?
Yeah, you were there, John, when I was talking about like you're just gonna drown with the 5 pounds. I forgot like 5 pounds is really
Well,
not much.
Yeah, it's not, and it's spread out
Spread
through a
out,
vest. And as I was picking, I was trying to be like ratioed. Well, I mean, 30 pounds is a lot. So that on your bike, that would be.
Yeah.
But it's not like
I mean, you
it's-
could prop
it's
up
adding
though,
to it,
and you can.
but it's not like 10 pounds running. That's
Yeah.
that's going on your knees. Like that's going.
Yeah.
That
I've run with 30 pounds though, and it's not.
oh, he's a tough guy.
Yeah, I'm doing ruck marches and stuff, and then like running them with 30, 40 pound pack. It sucks, and your body hurts, and your hips get damaged. But
I would never
Um,
want to add weight swimming ever. I
just don't know what
all
it would
these,
feel
I
like.
always
That
want
would feel so
swimming
weird.
to be the easiest.
The
Because if I get
easiest one.
tired, if I'm treading water, 5 pounds doesn't go away. It
Oh, instead of a
slowly-
Panic mode.
it'll slowly suck me down, and I will just go to the bottom and die. I don't
Instead of a
want that.
5-pound vest, how about 5-pound dumbbells tied to your ankles?
Oh gosh.
And just slowly.
Constantly trying to pull you down.
Okay,
In
so
open water.
5-pound dumbbells tied to your ankles swimming, 30 pounds tied to your legs biking,
No, dragged
Or-
on a plate behind your
dragged on a
dragged on
plate
your
behind you,
bike.
No, your tires are 30-pound plates.
Oh,
Boy, that would be easier actually.
yeah,
Just
that would-
or running with a parachute behind you.
Ooh. If the gust of wind picks up, you're gone.
I'm still taking the bike.
I
That
would
be
always.
brutal on the legs.
I feel like I will always pick running to make it harder.
To make the running
Because
part, you'd want.
I'd
everything
rather
easier.
make running harder than the other ones because I just don't like them as much.
Yeah, I think
Right-
that's, I think that's
right
my
now.
mindset with the biking too.
Yeah.
is that I would want.
But the
biking
swim is
to be
shorter.
harder.
Wait, are we
but
saying-
but you can die when you swim.
Yeah, but I can.
The water can kill you.
We've been talking about wiping out biking here.
Yeah.
Are we saying we're doing a triathlon and one of these things has to happen
Yeah.
during the
Yeah.
triathlon?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, clarify that a little bit.
Honestly, the 5 pounds in the vest probably wouldn't be that bad for swimming if you're doing a sprint. Like,
But think of even swimming in like a sweater. Like
mean, you're wearing
that's
a wetsuit.
probably
it's like that.
yeah. But
sucks
I'm saying
to
no.
run.
I'm saying like that retains water. That's probably like what is a soaked sweater?
Yeah.
And if it's like I don't know, it's kind of it's annoying, really
Well, I mean,
annoying to
even
do.
like
but-
your wetsuit, like holds water too inside. But I don't know. I think
I would
5
do the
pounds-
bike.
I think
I would-
5
really?
pounds spread out.
30 pounds on a bike. Do they have 30-pound vests?
That's
a lot of
I
weight.
mean,
They have vests you
plate
can
I've
have.
already
carriers,
got a lot
yeah.
of weight on
Yeah.
the bike. 30 pounds more, not very much.
Yeah,
to
that
be
probably
said.
would be the easiest. I mean, you have a mechanical
Yeah.
mechanical
It'll
advantage,
slow
and
you
it's
down.
on your chest. It's not on your legs, so your legs can still do the same.
The 30 pounds
just-
on the bike will probably affect your time the most out of all of them because it's the longest discipline
Yeah,
and it will slow you down. Like there's more time that can be knocked off from it. The vest, the 5 pound swimming would probably affect you the least, but I don't.
Just for the
but you
length.
could die.
As long as you survive.
I'll take.
yeah.
I still take.
Or it
the-
could affect you the most.
Yeah, yeah.
But even 10 pounds running, 10 is not that much, like especially in the vest form. Like
Right.
you would feel it
and
kind
probably
of,
wouldn't
but-
slow you down that much.
No.
And 30 pounds probably wouldn't slow you down that much either, but it would over an hour like slow you down.
yeah, the swim would wreck you.
That's when you would
Any
do it.
additional weight.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll
We'll have to try it. We'll each have to take an
Depends on
event.
if you can wear.
We're gonna have to-
If you can wear. A
We're gonna have to
wetsuit-
I
do a
think
grab
we
bag.
should try
If
it.
you can wear a wetsuit,
I need to do.
if I can wear a wetsuit, the swim it wouldn't affect it at all because wetsuit is like so buoyant anyway that 5 pounds wouldn't even touch it. But if I'm not wearing a wetsuit, then I'll probably drown.
Yeah, we'll
This
try
is
it.
true.
We'll have to do a grab bag, and we each.
Yeah, we should
I don't
try
know.
one
We're
of
gonna
them.
get 30-pound.
Mark this down. We got to do it
Yeah,
this spring.
yeah. I'll
All
do
right.
the 5 pounds swimming. I'll just strap a dumbbell.
That'll be
to my
that'll be a
chest.
segment coming up in the spring.
And then
so
I'll be
stick
off the
around.
podcast because I'll die.
You know,
I'll just drown in Anderson's Pond.
you're gonna look like you just have a bomb jacket on, biking. Where's this guy going?
I'm gonna go alone, and
Just
I'm gonna,
don't bike in the middle of a busy city.
I'm gonna duct tape this thing so tight.
I'm gonna
that
swim
I
the
won't be able to
Menominee
take it
River
off.
with 5 pounds.
I won't be able to get it off, so I'm just gonna be struggling and freaking out. And it's only gonna be 5 pounds, so it's gonna slowly like affect me. But it's always gonna be working against me. But yeah, let's do it. Let's do it this summer.
I love it.
All right. Well, that's we'll go into our last segment here. Squad goals. So last week we had a couple goals that we wanted to reach during the week. We'll recap those, and then we'll go into this next week of what we want to try to accomplish. So I'll start. So mine, I just had pretty generic. Check out pools. I wanted to get started in swimming training, run 10 to 15 miles, and get in a routine. Well, I didn't get in a routine, so that instantly affected the other ones. But I did get out running probably maybe 6 to 7 miles, but I did the sprint training and that workout that week kind of wrecked me, and then I got a little bit sick, catching a cold, so I didn't hit the mileage number I wanted to. But still, I'm gonna leave pools on there for myself. Gonna hit up the Y in the morning, go check out my local one, make sure I can get in there, and then start up that routine. See if stay early morning. Jimmy, you're not keeping the early mornings, or was that just for tomorrow?
No, just for tomorrow. So is it my turn? You done?
Yeah, it was no.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was
Go right into it.
the doc came like there's a huge gap and I can close it without it. I don't know. Anyway, so so my squad goals last week was to have 3 resistance training days, which I did, and 2 swimming days, which I did, and 1 run day, which I did. I did 3 miles yesterday, and 1 bike day, which I did tonight. I rode an hour tonight. So
Hey.
I completed all my squad goals.
Jeez.
Slow clap.
Give yourself
yeah,
a point
so
or something. We
yeah.
got to track this.
You guys
Jim gets
owe
a
me
squad
$100.
point.
Jim
Nope,
gets
nope.
a gold
James
star.
Squad.
James squad point. That's what I'm putting in.
So is it the first 1 squad point?
I don't know.
wins?
We'll just track points and then make something
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I complete
right.
all my squad goals.
I, on the other hand, did not. So let's go back to my CrossFit workout that I joined on Friday. My legs were so sore Saturday and Sunday that I was literally hobbling around. I could barely even I couldn't even sit down. I had to keep my legs straight to sit down.
Dude, how did
I've
you
never
go to the
been that sore in my
bathroom?
entire life.
Oh,
It
that's
was
so
not
fun.
easy.
Fall
Did
and
Lexi mess with
do
you? Would she
fall
like just push you?
scream? Like when you go to sit on the toilet, do you like if my legs are really hurt, I fall and yell and just hope to catch myself enough by the time I hit.
No, but you gotta use the wall to help
Yeah.
brace yourself a little bit and
Just
ease
groan.
yourself down.
Oh my
onto
gosh,
the
I
toilet.
scream
Yeah.
just ah! Just hope I land on it.
Just go for it.
No, luckily Lexi didn't mess with me at all, so that was nice of her. But even getting down on the floor to play with Audie, it was horrible. And I'd once I got down there, I was like, I'm not getting back up for at least 10 minutes.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm here.
But I did I got 2 resistance training days in. One of those was the CrossFit workouts. I got 2 runs in. So even Monday, I was so sore. I tried to run and it was brutal. It just hurt so bad. And I was like, oh, by the time I get a mile in, my legs get warmed up and they'll loosen up. I'll feel fine. The entire 5-mile run was treacherous. So anyways, I got 2 runs in, then I did 1 bike. So the only thing I really missed, I'll call, was the swim.
Swim, that was a big one.
That was a big one because that's what I said I'm focusing on this winter, and I skipped the first.
Are you
week.
gonna? How many days a week
The
then
nice
are you
thing
gonna
is
try
we
to
have
swim?
a squad goal every week to set it up again.
To fail. To set up again.
That is true. That
No.
is true. I'm gonna start with 1 day a week, and I'm probably gonna get into 2 days a
I
week,
might-
maybe even more.
I might try it. I'll see how I feel. So I'm taking off tomorrow swimming because the wife wants to watch a movie night and I need to sleep, so I can't get up early. And I'm going to see how that feels because when I was waking up early every single day, that once I got to Thursday and Friday, the week was starting to collapse a little bit.
Start to bonk.
My Friday workout,
Bonk.
my Friday lift
Bonk
was
the
always
day.
rough, and I was just struggling to get through. Right away, I get a ton of sleep Friday to Saturday, so I get recover really well. but Thursday and Friday were real rough. So I'm gonna try it this week. I might actually just drop out Thursdays for swim and just do one swim a week. I feel like that's letting James down a little bit, but I know he doesn't actually care. I mean, just he's worrying about himself, so he doesn't care what I do. But yeah, I'll see how it goes. I might drop one.
Yeah,
day.
but drop one day a
just
week.
Thursday. I
but
might drop.
still,
I'll
yeah.
still swim Tuesdays.
And I have one broader squad goal for all of us. I don't know how far out they can be, but I want to sign up for a triathlon by next week. If they
By next
have them
week?
open for spring. Do they have them open for spring?
Probably,
That's
yeah.
what I
Oh,
mean.
yeah.
Are they scheduled? So that, yeah, I want to pick one, just sign for a
Just
sprint.
for next.
Just so,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it could be not do one by next
Right.
week.
Well, no.
We also could just go do our own.
Yeah, let's just do it. Why
Let's
not?
go out.
Let's start at the Y. We'll do laps in the pool, then we'll bring our bikes there. We'll plan a
But
bike
I'm in a
route. and then
hilly
run.
environment, and it's not easy for me.
We could.
Well, your time is going to be worse than ours.
Yeah, I will just pause, and then I'll start on my train. I'll drive home, start the time. But no, I want to, adding to mine, I want to sign up for
Do it.
a
Actually, like
triathlon.
that is I think
Or some endurance race, but I gotta
think
just-
mentally, like
yeah.
the sign up is a big deal. Like, because you can, like, keep saying I'm going to do a half Ironman next year,
Yeah.
but until I sign up,
No, it is.
You
You got to sign up.
The second I sign up, then it's almost like a little bit scary. It's like, oh wow, this is like I'm really doing this.
Man, I can't even imagine after doing one or two how much more I'll have to talk about once I actually
I
do
know,
triathlons
it's
instead
fun.
of just
And it'd
I'm
be
excited
nice
to
to
get
like
into
be
it.
able to talk in the week after and go over like what
Yeah,
you felt,
what
and
you
all the
did,
different
and yeah.
things. It is really fun. So this will be good work up to it, and
Yeah, I
big
honestly don't care
countdown
if
to
I
the
would do
event.
a sprint in the winter time, or if, like, I know they can swap out the water event with different stuff, but just to get something in, or maybe just do a half marathon, get something going. But I'm adding that to mine.
Yeah, I might sign up for the half Ironman. I'll see. I just bought Modern Warfare, so we'll see what I can get away
There's
with.
a lot of time spent, a lot of money spent on Modern Warfare.
That's another thing. All this, everything, it costs so much in this
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah, signing up, gear, equipment. That's why I probably just get by with what I
Like, the
have.
more you get,
especially sprints.
Like the more you get, and so what you got to do, and this is what I did, is you got to start out really high, and then work her down to, like, so like I need a bike. It's gonna be like $3,000, and she's like, "That's ridiculous." No, I was like, "Oh, I found this bike for $500. Can I buy it?" And I was
Hey.
like, "Oh wow, that's way better."
wow, way cheaper.
That's how I've been doing. And then what's the other thing? It was like something about planning family pictures, and she didn't want to do them at that time. I was like, all right. I was like, I'll cancel these family pictures, but you let me buy a Wahoo kicker for the winter instead. And she agreed, and now I have a kicker.
Really?
Yeah,
That's an interesting tactic. I'm going to try that.
yeah. Just you gotta do something, set something up without her knowing that she doesn't like, and then be like, hey, we're gonna do this, and she's like, really? Like, I don't want to do this. And then you say, hey, I'll cancel this, but I'm gonna need to get this. It's just a fair trade. Or just
I think there's a
slowly
term for
get
that.
stuff.
It's called manipulation.
I'm gonna stick with the gear I have currently and just do what I can with what I got.
No, I didn't. We talked through everything I bought. Well, some things I know my limit of what I'm allowed to buy. The big stuff, I know I'm not going to get another bike for a long time after I bought that one.
I do. I want to look into a bike though.
I got a really good deal on my bike, which is nice. And I always want a new bike, but like realistically, I don't need one because while I do want to get faster, it's like the bike won't make that much of a difference. Or an aero helmet. That's how I want to get one of those.
I think there are some bike parts that
Aero
think, like,
helmet.
the
Those are
wheels.
like
the ones that go all the way back. Yeah, like Kane has. Scott has one that
Tickle.
he races
Mine's
in,
not
too.
a
tickle your
full-
lower back.
Scott has
Yeah,
a
mine's
full
like a
that he races in.
partial. Yeah.
Does it make a big difference?
I don't know. We tease that it does. Like, not tease him, but like he rode faster than James did in the Mist Triathlon, and we said it was because of the helmet, because of all the aerodynamics of the helmet.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we got some good squad goals going for next week. Let's try to execute, make it happen.
Wait,
Get better.
Wait,
better.
We didn't do it for next week. We just did a broad one. I mean, you said yours.
Oh, I did mine. Oh yeah, mine were the same.
I did his.
Mine were the same. Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I completed mine, so I need new ones.
Yeah, what are your new ones?
For me, okay, so I'm gonna do 3 resistance training days again. Just lifting heavy, just trying to during the winter, just pound and weight. I'm gonna do 1 swimming day because I will not be swimming tomorrow. The hard one. Do I want to run twice or do I want to bike twice? I will. Man, this is tough. I will do 2 runs and then another bike for at least an hour. Yeah. So I will do 3 resistance training days, 1 swimming day, 2 runs, and a bike. Oh, where we? Okay. Okay, yeah. I'll change mine. So Kane, you're up.
I was just checking the weather. So my goal is going to be 1 swim and 120 miles on the bike.
Ooh. Focusing on swim, huh?
I got my swimming.
Focus on swim this winter.
You should do 1 bike and 120 miles on the swim.
On the swim. On the swim.
The weather is going to hold out to be pretty nice.
I thought it's going to be terrible this weekend.
I feel like
I thought it's supposed to be raining.
no, it's going to rain this weekend, but Sunday's going to be nice.
So
and like it's not
50s,
in like the
50, 50, 20 or like 30, 30,
I think
30,
I'm going to do
30.
I think I'm going to do a 60 and then 3 20s.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
That's going to be tough
Jumping right
because it's going to have to be on the weekend a lot because the sun
Did you get a kicker yet?
available.
Hey, this is the.
No, I don't have a kicker yet either, so it's going to have to be outdoors.
Hey, this sun it's daylight savings this weekend too.
Oh, wait, I might have to change mine.
Yeah. Didn't think of that, did you?
Idiot.
Unless I do like 60 on Saturday.
Well, you could do it in the
60
morning.
On Sunday.
Jeez, why would you do that to yourself?
Do it in the morning.
That
Okay,
sounds
so
fun.
you have what day is it? It's Wednesday. We have Thursday. You have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be tough. 120. I'd be impressed.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Are you doing CrossFit Saturday? No, I'm.
No.
No, we're not.
No.
Okay. I want to go with you.
Oh, we can if you actually want to. I will.
Okay, I'll go.
But we got to ride 60 miles after that.
No, we.
Yeah, we.
No, I got family stuff. Legit though. But that's in the afternoon, so I can morning. But my bike's hooked up. I can't. Anyway, my bike's hooked up to the kicker.
I need to get a
It's
kicker.
it's pretty nice. It's because I've been watching Ryan Gosling movies every time I ride. Dude, no, it's
Makes me pedal
dude,
faster.
The Gray Man. I was watching the Gray Man. Before that, I was.
Oh,
watching
yeah, that was
Crazy
pretty
Stupid
intense.
Love, and it's just like
Gray Man's good.
Straight motivation. Just straight motivation. I get it. I know what I got to do. I
told you got to hook up so you can play Warzone.
I got to find a
Modern Warfare 2. Hook up
your
your PC. You could easily do a controller.
I could. I got to try to hit more like the workouts on those things too. The workouts are not terrible on Zwift. I know some people don't like them, but it gives me some structure
Rather than
more
just like riding.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
that like the terrain changes and stuff. The thing that is a bummer on Zwift is that when you ride, like if you're going on a bridge or like on dirt road, it'll actually, even if you're pedaling hard, it'll slow down your speed to like 9 miles an hour. Even if you're pedaling because you're on dirt road. Yeah. But it's worth it. It's nice to be able to just go in the basement.
Well, if you get one of those, Kane, you guys could ride together right, virtually.
Yeah, then we could ride together.
Yeah.
And Brett Favre does it.
Do you ride with Brett Favre?
No, I never have yet.
Riding with him to prison.
Drive.
Oh well, that's a good spot to stop here. So let's close this one out. So, let's start back with the intro music because it's so good.
I love it.
You were listening to the Try Guys podcast. Check us out on all the platforms where podcasts are available. We can have the video up on YouTube as well. Try Guys podcast channel. We'll see you next week. Thanks.